Good evening, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening. Powered by frigid Arctic air, the latest in a string of blizzard-like storms touched off hundreds of accidents all across the state today. The most serious of which was a giant chain reaction pileup on I-71 in Morrow County, 30 miles north of Columbus. An out-of-control truck triggered the crash involving a bus, several semis, and as many as 15 cars. The Greyhound bus bound from Cleveland to St. Petersburg, Florida, plowed into the rear of a semi. 2 passengers and the bus driver were trapped for 3 hours. In all, 16 people injured. 4 of them had to be hospitalized. All across the area tonight, commuters' thoughts are turning to the rush hour in the morning and what they'll have to go through. News Center 8 CityCam reporter Dale Solly has spent tonight coming up with the answer. Dale?
And a cold night it was, Tim, but what a difference a couple of hours can make. From near zero visibility that we had out here tonight at 6 o'clock, it looks now like tomorrow morning's rush hour is going to be okay. The main thing is the fact that the wind has died down. As cameraman Ted Victorine and I found in driving the city tonight, the roads are still treacherous in places, but passable in most. The trouble spots are still the overpasses and the on and off ramps on the freeways. There have been some spin outs, yes, but nothing like the rash of accidents that we saw earlier. City road crews have been at it all day long, and while city streets remain snow-covered and slick, it looks as though tomorrow morning's travel will be slow but sure. Dale Solly live with the CityCam downtown.
Some more encouraging news. Dick says the worst of the storm is over. He has an update now on what areas were hardest hit. Dick?
The snow has ended in the city of Cleveland, also at Hopkins Airport. Dale is right. The morning rush hour really is going to depend throughout the area on how the roads are plowed and treated tonight. And the way it went in the state of Ohio was still some snow falling over the extreme eastern counties. The low-pressure area at sunrise was near Cincinnati. It kept going at that latitude. A trace of snow here, about 1 to 3 over the southern, one-third of the state. And in this area, the heaviest band of snow, and I've refigured this since the 6 o'clock show, 4 to 8 inches generally across Indiana and this part of Ohio into Pennsylvania, and 1 to 3 up there, 1 to 3 in one-third of the state. And in this area, the heaviest band of snow, and I've refigured this since the 6 o'clock show, 4 to 8 inches generally across Indiana and this part of Ohio into Pennsylvania, and 1 to 3 up there, 1 to 3 in that part of the state of Ohio. But again, the winds are diminishing. The snow is ending from the west. We'll have more on this later. Denise?
A Cleveland
RTA riders and motorists shared the frustration of getting home tonight, but the problems were even more serious for intercity travelers. News Center 8's Mary Lou Johannick has the first of 2 reports.
Rush hour traffic inched slowly through downtown Cleveland today. Slippery roads and gusting winds created frustrating conditions for motorists and pedestrians alike. RTA riders crowded into shelters to wait and wait for buses home. And at Greyhound, no buses were leaving or entering the terminal. Officials there are relying on advice from Highway Patrol before they continue any more routes. Passengers are calling home, checking schedules, and waiting.
We're here since 1:15. So I don't know how long we'll be here. I hope it's not too long, because we'll have to sleep here all night. I can't get a hold of nobody.
I'm going to Buffalo. I just got out of college for spring break, and I've been sitting here for about two hours so far now.
The worst delays are coming in from Pittsburgh, the south, meaning Columbus, Cincinnati, Charleston, and also from the west, including Detroit, of course.
According to the latest reports, the terminal is still closed to incoming and outgoing traffic. Mary Lou Johannick, News Center 8, Cleveland.
I'm Neil Zerker at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport, where the blowing snow caused the cancellation of a lot of flights late this afternoon. The most common sight here was long lines at the ticket counters, knots of people on the telephone, and people standing around reading the bad news on the information boards.
Flight from 1:30 is canceled. I'm booked on a 7 o'clock flight, so we can only hope.
It's on Comair. We're going to try Pan Am in a little bit.
When are Comair?
I guess the smaller planes are not letting out.
For about an hour and a half, nothing moved on the airport while crews struggled to open the runways. Finally, about 5:30, some of the planes boarded their passengers and took off. It appeared things were getting back to normal, but some travelers were still having problems.
They just canceled our Pan Am flight, and going to try to get on the U.S. Air about 8:10. Comair is canceled altogether, so I don't know what's going to happen. May have to spend the night.
Republic Airlines arriving flight 968 from Detroit and departing flight 398 for Detroit has been canceled.
So even if this weather does improve sometime later this evening, some of these folks are in for a long night here in Cleveland. Neil Zerker, News Center 8 at Cleveland Hopkins International Airport.
The storm also forced the cancellation of many classes and activities tonight, and already many schools have been canceled for tomorrow. We'll have a list of all the cancellations a little later in the newscast. And still to come on News Center 8, a fight to the cold.
And an Elyria woman bids a final farewell to her family, killed in a tragic fire. Stay with us.